So let's talk Bitcoin, gold, cash. Like, what is the better option right now? Because we are in some murky times and you got to figure out what to do with your money. In this video, we're going to take a deep dive into cryptocurrencies and gold and kind of figure out what this is. Should you invest in it? What are your options? Once we get to the end of this video, you will have a much better understanding of Bitcoin, a much better understanding of gold, and you can make your own decisions accordingly. So keep it locked for all that and more. It's Crystal with the Cash Compass. Alright, welcome back. I am here to teach you all the things that you should have learned in school about money, but for whatever reason, they forgot to mention it. Please be sure to subscribe because we talk about everything from personal finance to investing to the economy, and then get right into it. Alright, for some housekeeping, please only constructive comments because I know people tend to get very emotional about Bitcoin, and I know we're in quarantine, but I do throw block parties, so talk crazy and you will get blocked. All right, that's out of the way now. So first, let me talk about why people even invest into these things and why diversification is really important. So I know when we were younger, they were like, save your money so you can live good, blah, 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 blah. But the thing is, you're saving dollars that are losing value year after year. And we've in fact lost over 97% of our purchasing power from these dollars. So why are we saving money that they're printing out of nowhere and that we're losing money on? A lot of people have had that thought, and that is why they chase yield. That's why they're in the stock market, why they're loaning money out, why they're in cryptocurrencies and precious metals, because it's to protect our coins. And with the stimulus package that has been released, which I have tons of videos if you want to get a better idea of how I feel about them, so you can click one of them up here. But with that stimulus package, it's eroding our value even quicker. It's important to note that our dollars is not money, it is currency. There is a difference. I will be having a video about that, going into detail about our currency. When you're thinking about investing into anything, not even just cryptocurrencies, there are different levels that I think of when I think about putting my money into something. And those levels of categories are as follows. We have investments, right? And for me, an investment is something that puts money in your pocket. So I'm putting money out because I'm expecting a return. There's speculation. And speculation is when you're getting something with the expectation that the price will go up. So I'm gonna buy this stock because I think it has potential to go to an even higher amount, and when I sell it, I'll make a gain. That's a speculation because you don't really know how high it's gonna go. You can't really calculate it, you can't really quantify it. You just kind of make that move based on whatever you've done research on. And then there's insurance, and that's more for wealth preservation, right? It's the same thing as like car insurance, for example. You don't get car insurance because you expect to become rich off of it. No, you get car insurance because if something happens, you're going to be made whole again. They'll pay off that car, or they'll give you the repairs to kind of bring you right back to where you were. So when you are putting money into something as an insurance, it's to just kind of preserve what you have, preserve that wealth. And then this is kind of like a bonus one, but this is like monetary. And I think this is something that precious metals and cryptocurrency tends to fall into the category of, and that's using it as a medium of exchange, right? So I want something from you, so I'm gonna go ahead and give you this Bitcoin and give you this precious metal, and you'll give me what I'm looking for. Okay, so what is Bitcoin? Some people refer to Bitcoin as digital gold. Just like gold, you have to mine for it. So there are people who have super heavy power computers and they have to figure out complex algorithms and like literally math problems to virtually dig out that Bitcoin. And it's very complex. It's supposed to prevent scammers from being able to duplicate or counterfeit the Bitcoin. You will have a public key, and this is kind of like your personal identification. It's a way to transact that is anonymous, so it's very private. And this is what you would need in order to buy or use your Bitcoin. There are Bitcoin exchanges, just like the stock exchange, where you can actually go and get your Bitcoin or sell it to somebody else. There's only 21 million Bitcoins in the world, and as the years progress, they limit the amount of Bitcoin that can be mined every year. So basically, you'll only be able to mine Bitcoin through year 2140, which is a long time from now, but it's limited, right? Which makes it actually worth something, but we'll get into that later. So when people mine the Bitcoin, they obviously get rewarded by getting that Bitcoin, which they can then sell into the exchange to you and I, who are probably looking for somewhere else to keep our money because we don't want to keep it in the dollar. All right, so what are the pros of Bitcoin? It is decentralized, so there is no watchful eye of the government hawking you. It is quick transactions. There's no third party involved, whereas like let's say you're using your debit card or something, you have to have that third party kind of doing that exchange. you can easily transact in Bitcoin and it goes directly to this person. It is scarce, which is a very important quality of money because there is only 21 million, like I mentioned earlier, so that prevents things from getting overheated, which is what's happening with the dollar right now because they're just printing it into infinity, right? You cannot mine more than they already have. It's written in the code to limit how much you can have every single year. And again, it's private. You don't have to be doing anything illegal, but maybe you just don't want the whole world knowing what you're buying. So Bitcoin allows you to transact anonymously, which is nice. All right, what are some challenges? Security is a huge challenge. Now, although the system has been created to prevent people from duplicating the Bitcoins, the exchanges are a different story. The exchanges are where you get your Bitcoin from. And typically some exchanges will have what they call a virtual wallet, and that's where you'll keep your Bitcoin. Because alternatively, you can keep your Bitcoin maybe printed out, like your key can be printed out, or you can have it on your own computer for personal records, but it's easier to actually have it in a wallet. But when you are putting it in a third-party wallet, they have been hacked. In fact, hacked so bad that the largest one actually had to close down because they lost millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin due to hackers. Also, there have been fake Bitcoin wallets that weren't really wallets to begin with, but once you give them your key, that is your specific code. If you have that key into some third-party exchange company, that can be compromised. Another downfall is that it's still kind of new relative to other forms of money. And again, like I said, it depends on what you're looking at it as. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But basically, it's still in its infancy. So some countries have banned it altogether. Some countries treat it as property. Some countries could treat it as money, but there isn't a streamlined, okay, this is what we're gonna consider Bitcoin as across the globe. So you may find yourself having issues if you're traveling and you wanna use Bitcoin. It's still very new. Volatility is also another factor because Bitcoin is extremely volatile. I think we're still trying to find a comfort zone with Bitcoin. So there has been days where it shoots up 10%. There's been weeks where it's gone down by 50%. So it's kind of hard to gauge where it's going to be from day to day. Another random thing is that you can't really get refunds. So obviously if you went to Target and you paid with Bitcoin, you couldn't get your money back if you went to go return whatever item you bought. Random, but you know, not a problem right now. And I would imagine that hopefully in the future, if this became like a widely used currency, that they would have to figure out a way to refund your money. But as it stands right now, it's just gone. So what do I think about Bitcoin? Like I mentioned earlier in my video, there are different categories, and I think Bitcoin for me right now falls into the category of speculation. It's not putting money in my pocket right now, so I can't consider it an investment. I don't believe we have perfected the wealth preservation because it is so volatile. So I can be buying it now, but then a year from now it can go to zero. There isn't really a long-term historic chart that I can see and say, okay, well, this seems to be pretty steady, so I can't think of it as insurance either. And again, it can be monetary because of its volatility and because as of right now, it's not widely accepted yet because it is still so new. I believe it started in 2009 and it really started picking up speed after 2014 or so. So we're still relatively young. So is speculation bad? No, I think speculation to a certain degree is fine. I mean, as long as the money you're putting in, you're okay with potentially losing. But if it's something that you're putting all your money into, I do think you should proceed with caution. So I talked about gold. I do have a video up here that goes into super deep details about gold. I wanted to kind of focus this on cryptocurrency, but I know a lot of times people go back and forth between gold and cryptocurrency, and gold has its benefits and its downfalls too. Gold has been around for a very long time, so it's trackable. You can kind of see its history, and because of that, we know that it's good for wealth preservation. I would consider gold more of an insurance play because I just want to protect my wealth. So I'm not looking to get super rich, but gold is typically seen as an inflation hedge. So with everything that's going on with the government and the Federal Reserve just kind of injecting so much money into the system, I wouldn't be surprised to see hyperinflation in America. Now, I'm expecting that to be like a long-term thing, but that's why you prepare now. So the thing about gold though is that it has been confiscated in the past. That confiscation was obviously reversed because now people can own gold, but who's to say they won't do it again? And they can even include other types of gold that weren't previously confiscated. Like, we really don't know. And that's why it's important to be diversified, like I said in the beginning, because you just want to make sure that you have options, okay? So if this option is taken away from you, you can still eat, you can still live. Also, it's important to note that gold is taxed at 28%. So if you got some gold and you go to sell it and you made a $100 gain, well, guess what? 28 of that dollars goes right back to the government. So it's It's a little tricky, so you do have to kind of weigh your options when you're thinking about this, but losing 28% is much better than losing all of your money, because if the fiat currency goes to zero, which it always has, this is not a conspiracy theory. I tell you guys this all the time. Currencies have failed time and time again when they are fiat and they're not based on anything of substance. What should you do? Where should you put your money? Where do you feel most comfortable? Where have you done the most research? Do not just blindly follow somebody on YouTube telling you what to do. Take your time to do your own research, get comfortable with these asset classes, and then you can move accordingly. Alright, that'll do it. If you like this video, then please like this video. Make sure you share it with your friends. And if you have nothing else going on, you know what to do. Binge watch me. And until next time, keep your money up.